This is the continuation of our beach scene. As a quick review, what we've done is we've created a beach scene. We've got our beach, our ocean, our sky, our sun, clouds, our bird, our palm trees. This is our timeline with our layers, and when we move this back and forth, it's called scrubbing the timeline. So as we start to move, remember that each one of these objects is on its own layer. We've got birds, clouds, sun, sky, ocean. The reason we do that is because we want to be able to work some of these independent of each other. And in this case, we've made our timeline 200, the length of 200, and we can always add more later, and we probably will have to, because one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to go from a night scene to a day scene to a night scene, and we're going to have to add some stars, we're going to add some a moon, and we're going to add some ocean noises and bird noises. So one of the things I want to do now is I added some more layers. You'll see I have night sky, star 1 layer. I just have a layer 16. I have the moon, and that's about it right now. I'm actually going to take layer 16 out and drop it into the trash can right there. As I scrub through the timeline, remember that we have gone through and added the bird, the stars, the sun and the clouds have gone off now on their own little merry way. One of the things I want to do is we'll go back and add the sounds. I added a layer above bird for bird audio, and one of the things I did was I went in and I downloaded an audio wave. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the audio. So I'm going to import to the library. I'm going to actually go in and go to the Flash class website, and week 6 I'm going to look for all my files, and here's Seagull, and this Seagull wave I'm going to upload on the class website so that you can add it to your audio on your image, on your movie as well, and it's going to go in and actually let us drop in the audio, and there it is right there. And if I want to hear it, I just go ahead and play it. And so we can go ahead and use that in our video, in our movie. What I'm going to do is I'm just actually going to come in here and I'm going to drop it into my video. I'm going to just drop it in on the stage. All I did was grabbed it and dropped it here into the stage, and you'll notice that it's all right here. So as I go and I hit Control Test Movie, it needs to save it first. And this video is about 64 seconds, roughly a minute long. Okay, and as I go through the video, the audio, we can see where it stops right here at the end of our timeline on 20. I can go in and edit this. I can have it fade in left to right, fade in, fade out. I can do custom. I can edit it, and when I go to edit, this is both channels, the left and the right. And when I come down here, I can have it fade in. I can cut portions of it out. It gives me here's the 2-second marker, and as I go all the way down, it gives me roughly, it tells me it's 63 seconds long. If I don't want it that long, I can obviously shorten it. There's no reason for me to have it this long. As you can see, there's nothing happening in the timeline as we go through it right here. And we can kind of start to look to see where we start to pick stuff up. And at about 61 seconds, we see that it really ends with nothing. We can come in and play a little bit with it and have it fade. When we play with this like this, what we're doing is we're actually having it fade in and out if we want. We can do some different things with it, play with it, clip it here and then have it come in and out, and then have it clip it here and bring it up. We can have it dip. Okay, this allows it to come in and dip, so we do the same thing here. we'll have it go out and come in. So if we looked at it and we clicked right here, let's say, and we played it. Let's see, where is it playing? I'm going to go ahead and pause it, because what I want to do is I'm going to click it right there. I'm going to start it. Automatically starts right real quick, as you can hear. But these are some of the things that we can do. You know, we can have it fade in. You know, come in real. So it just really depends on what it is you want to do. Again, we can have it fade left to right, right to left, in and out, fade in. Okay, this is the fade in right here. So you can see that as it comes in, what it's doing. Okay, and then we can have it fade out. So there's some things we can do, and this is obviously if we wanted to come in here and insert a blank keyframe, we could actually stop the noise right there if we wanted to. Well, that's exactly what happens, is once it comes in here, it'll stop from making any noise at that point. So that's one of the ways we can play with the sound effects. It's pretty easy. We'll talk about if we want it to loop or if we want it to repeat. It's an event. We can have it stream. There's a whole bunch of things we can do, but for right now, we're just going to play with the basics and have the audio come in and then end at about 165. The other thing that I want to do now is, once my son goes off the stage, which is roughly right about 185, I want to start making the sky do some stuff right about maybe 165, where we start to see our sounds end right here about 165, 166. As the sun starts to go down, we want this sky to start changing colors. And one of the nice things I can do is, I'm going to actually come in here and I'm going to insert a keyframe. When we come in here and play with this, I'm going to insert a keyframe here at the end. Well, actually I'm not. I'm going to add some more frames because we're going to need them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down all the way down here, and then I'm going to come to about 300. I'm going to select all the way up, and I'm going to right mouse click and hit insert frame so that I extend my timeline. So now what I have is an extension on my timeline here. I'm going to go back down to the sky. I have it the layer unlocked so that I can play with it, and if I want to know where it is, I'll just click on it right there. I'm going to come all the way down here to this end, and I'm going to insert another keyframe. And what I want to do is, right here, I'm going to actually go in and I'm going to play around with my keyframe. What do I mean by that? I'm actually going to do some tweening here. I'm going to say motion, but I don't want motion. Actually, I'm going to make some changes. I want to make some color changes, actually. Whoops. When we come in here, I'm going to break this apart. Okay, because I want to play around with my scene, with my colors. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to break apart. So when I come in here, what I'm going to do is, actually, I want to make some changes. I want to remove the tween. Let's go back here. And I want to change the color. I want to come in here and I want to change my color. I want to do something different. And I'm going to do some easing. I want to convert this to a symbol, and actually I'm going to call this night. Okay, and you'll notice that now that it's got an instance of night and it says color, and I can change my color here. So I can change my brightness, I can change the tint, and what happens when I change the tint, you'll notice now that I can darken my sky. I can change the alpha, which is really what we're going to start to play with. You'll notice once we can start playing with the alphas. And then I can come in here and do advanced. And these are my settings. And one of the things we can do is, when we play with we can do just alpha if we wanted to, okay, remember? Or I can come in here and play with my blues, or I can play with, you know, greens. And probably that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to go from adding my blues and I'm going to start playing with my greens. I'm going to add some greens. I can add red if I want to, okay? Notice with the blue it doesn't do too much except for make it a little pink, okay? But I want to go in here, so I'm going to set this back to 0, and I'm going to set this back to 0 right now so I get the true color. And I come back here, and you'll notice that I need to group. I need to make this, actually I'm going to delete this clear keyframe, and I'm going to come back in here. Here's my instance again of this keyframe right there. And I'm going to come back here and I'm going to insert blank keyframe again. So what I have is this keyframe here, okay, which should be my night, and I'm going to actually take that out. Oops. I'm actually going to come in here and drop it in. Oops. Let me get rid of that. Let's try again. I've made my night, and I can drop it back in here if I want, just like that, over that if I really want to do that. Okay, and I'm going to change the color. So let's do that. I'm going to add, oops, let me go back here. Sometimes we forget that we are playing with our frames. I'm going to clear the keyframe. I'm going to come back here. Whoops. Come back in here. And, oh, where is, there it is. I'm going to play with my settings. And I'm going to come in here. Oops. Go to my green. And I'm going to play with my settings, because now I'm going to get it dark. Okay. So what I've done is gone from here to here, and I'm going to create a motion tween. Now, insert keyframe. So what I've done now is gone from here to here, and I have a keyframe. So I've gone from here. I'm going to change that again. And I got my greens. We'll say roughly there. Let's go to here. To there. So now, notice that my color starts to change. So what I did was, again, I put an instance of the night in two places, or in one place. I put the movie clip here of night. I changed it, okay, and I made it modify, convert to symbol, and I made it a movie clip, and I called it night, which is over here in my library. So if you're looking, it's over there in my library. And then I came over here, and what I did was I inserted, remember I right mouse clicked and I inserted a keyframe. What that did was it gave me two instances of my night link, of my night movie clip, and then I clicked on my movie clip and I was able to play with my movie clip. And I went in, remember, and changed my tweening. I changed the alpha. I right mouse clicked, I inserted a tween, so what I got was what I'm getting is, it's called an alpha tween. So you come in here and I again inserted the movie clip here, went all the way down to my timeline down here, right mouse clicked, inserted a keyframe, which means I get a second instance of my movie clip. I right mouse clicked in the middle and hit create tween. Okay, and then what I did was I played with the alpha scale here. Remember, I went in and played with this alpha scale and played with it here. Okay, so now and you click on this actually. Okay, you click on the movie clip itself right here and you set the color, and then when you click on it here You do the same thing, you click it there and you set the color. Okay? So hopefully that wasn't too confusing. So now what we have, if we look at our movie, let's control it and let's test the movie. So now we have the movies played out and we see it actually coming in right here and changing to that. Notice one thing, our audio didn't stop. Okay, I want to do something right here and I'm going to right mouse click on it. I'm going to hit actions and I want it to just stop. So one of the things we can do is go in and we just want it to stop. So we want to go in and we want to add a, let's see, movie clip control. We want it to, not that. Here we go, timeline control. We want it to stop. So on this clip, it should stop right there. It shouldn't play after this clip right there. So all we did again was I went here, I went to global functions, I went to timeline control, and I got stop. Okay, I could have typed in stop and then put the open parentheses and then the semicolon, but I wanted you to see how we went about doing that. So that should stop the music right there. Okay, so now we need to do some stuff here. Once we've realized that we've got our little sky fading, we probably should get to a point where we're adding some little twinkly stars. And one of the things that we can do that makes it really nice is we can create a bunch of stars in the library. Let me go ahead and close this. I'm going to come in here and actually all I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this little white box, and we've talked about this before, how we can make things out of our boxes. I'm going to come up here on my timeline and work where I can. I'm going to turn the audio off, the bird off, or lock them up, I mean. And I'm going to lock the sky up. I'm going to come back up here to star, and I'm just going to work here in this staging area right here. I'm going to make a box. I don't have a stroke on, I just have a box. I'm going to come back up here. And one of the things I'm going to do is I want to create a star. So I'm going to hold the control key down, grab the center of my box here, and just kind of move it up. I'm going to do the same thing off to the side here. I'm going to grab my box on the side here, hold the control key, and move this in. Same way here. I'm just kind of coming in and grabbing things a little bit, so I can make what kind of looks like a star. It doesn't have to look like this. We can kind of play around with this. We can, make it look we can make it look twinkly. We can kind of give it a different, kind of a different look to it. It can be anything you want it to be, because one of the things we're going to do is we're going to shrink this. We're going to make it really small. Okay. And we're going to learn how to make a movie clip inside a movie clip now. So here's my star. Okay. I'm going to make it a little smaller. Hold the shift key down. I'm just going to kind of shrink it down a little bit. Okay. I'm going to select it, modify, convert to symbol, and I'm going to call it a movie clip, and I'm going to say star. Now I'm going to double click on the star, because here it is in our little scene. Problem is we can't really see it that well, so we're going to have to kind of play with it out here. Well, we'll see. If I double click on it now, I can kind of see the movie clip, the star. And what I want to do is I'm going to make a movie clip. I'm playing with this movie clip actually. I'm going to right mouse click. I'm going to insert frame. So now I have this star. I want it to do some stuff. I want it to move, or I want it to change, or I want it to shine or twinkle or do something. So I'm going to put let's say right here, I'm going to right mouse click, insert keyframe, and maybe right here I'll go insert keyframe and insert keyframe. What I've done is I have really 4 drawings of the star in the timeline, and now I'm going to start playing with each one of the drawings. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to kind of play with the star right here. I'm going to maybe make it a little smaller. Okay. Actually, let's do this. Let's twist it a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to right mouse click, create motion tween. I'm going to come to this one here. It's the same instance. Notice this one's different, and it's the same instance there. And I'm just going to go ahead and hold the shift key down and make it a little smaller over here. Right mouse click, create motion tween. So notice what's happening. It's kind of moving around. I don't really want it to move around though. That's the thing. So I'm here. So this is one of those instances where you might just kind of want to go back and get rid of everything. So I'm just going to go right mouse click, clear keyframe, right mouse click, clear keyframe, right mouse click, clear keyframe. And let's start all over again. So I'm going to come in here, insert keyframe, right here, insert keyframe, and then once again insert keyframe. I want to play with it right where it sits. I don't want to move around. I don't want it to do anything. I'm just going to play with it right where it sits. Okay. So now what I have is this here, same thing here, and then it's right there. So there it is. I'm going to twist it again. Let's do that again. So now what we have is the star that does this. So it just kind of bounces back and forth. Bounce, 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 bounce. We could add lines to it if we wanted to. We could have little things happening. We could have it flexing, you know, right here. As long as we stay in place, we could have it, you know, come in here and just come in a little bit. Maybe like it's twinkling. Okay. And we're back out there. So here it is. It's right there. But what's happening now is we've made it smaller when we clicked on it, when we went in and played with it. Okay. So this is just basically what it's doing. Now watch what happens when I go in and put it in the scene here. Here's the star. So here's where it's sitting right here. I'm going to actually take it out of there. I'm going to clear the keyframe. Here's the star right here. Okay, that's our star. I'm going to come all the way down here. Remember, we were about what? Here when we started seeing the colors change. And we really don't start to see stars until the sun's just about gone. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to right mouse click and insert a blank keyframe. And I'm going to put a star in here. Okay, and I can put another star right there if I want. And I can put another instance of the star right there. So watch what happens when I come in here and I put the stars in. And they just kind of sit there, huh? Okay. They don't do anything. They're not really, let's look at it, the controls. Test movie. Notice what happened? We stopped. Yeah, I made a boo-boo. And the boo-boo is, how many people say boo-boos anymore? The boo-boo is I put a stop action right here in this frame. And when I put a stop action in there, it stops everything from happening. So I didn't want to do that. So I'm taking that out. So now let's see what happens when we play our movie. Because what happened is the sound started but the movie stopped. So let's try again. See what's happening with our stars is we're kind of getting a they're let's look at our star. They're getting a little twist in them from where they are right here to how they look. This is going to be a little difficult to see. That's how they look in that, but the problem is when they get to here, because they're twisted, it's doing that kind of little jerking movement. Okay, so we don't really want it to jerk. The other thing that we can do in our tweening is we can ease it in or out. So if we look at it, when we click on tween, we can have it ease in or ease out. Okay, and that'll change it a little bit, and we'll look to see how does that play out. Okay, test movie. So yeah, the stars with the easing, it just kind of makes them come back and forth and back and forth. The problem we still have though is when we're working with the star, my best bet probably is to really look again at the star and see what it looks like here in this view, okay, and what it looks like right here, because what's happening is, see this view here, how it's twisted, and this view here, I'm not getting it back to here. So the next thing I can do actually is I'm going to add one more keyframe right here. I'm going to insert a blank keyframe. I'm going to copy this one here. I'm going to hit Control C, go here, and I'm going to go ahead and paste in place that keyframe. So what happens now is it eases out. It should ease out when we look at it. So let's go back and look to see what happens now with our star and see if that fixes it, see if that works for us. It sure did. What we did was we have the stars now that just are kind of twinkling or rocking back and forth. And again, what we did was we had this keyframe and this keyframe. There was a jump. So it had to jump to get back to this frame, and all we did was say, okay, we want it to go back to the original frame right here. And so it did a motion tweening. We can't really see it because it's the wrong color. But what it did was it did a motion tween, so it went back to its original position, tweened back. The other thing, remember what we did in the stars when we looked at them and played with them again. Here we worked the easing out, which means we smoothed out the motion, so it wasn't quite so choppy. And that's what easing in and out does for you. Also, one of the things that we could have done was we could have auto-rotated it. You know, we could have had it go counterclockwise, but we don't want it to look like a spinning top. Okay, what we did was we just want it to kind of look like it's twinkling. When I come in here now, and I come to this section where I see my stars, watch, if I'm here and I play with this one, and I hold the shift key down and I make it a little smaller. Notice now I have a smaller star right here, and I still have my original star here and this one, and I can make it a little smaller. So I'm just playing with the instance right here of these stars. I'm not playing with anything else. I'm just playing with this star and this star. My bigger star is still right here. So that allows me to come in, and remember, I'm just using this one star out of the library. This one star is these three stars, and all I did was in this timeline I played with the stars. I put them in there. So now if we go back in and we test the movie one more time, and you'll do this a lot because you want your animation to look like it's flowing, it's smooth. So let's watch our movie. And again, see, I have my stars, my smaller stars here, and my big one there, and they're all three the same star. They're all the same star. All I've done is make a couple of different versions. Now I can throw another one in there if I want, right here. You know, if I want to put in an even smaller one, I'll hold the shift key down and really make it small. So now I have a little small one in there. Okay. The other thing I'm going to do is, remember when we talked about putting that stop action on there? I'm going to right mouse click, on the last frame, somewhere, anywhere on the timeline. I'm going to insert a blank keyframe, and I'm going to put that action back. I want it to stop. I don't want it to continuously loop. So I'm going to come back here, go to Global Functions, Timeline Control, and hit Stop. Okay, so that at the end of the movie, when it reaches frame 300, it stops the movie. That's it. We're done. No more. Okay, so here we are. Let's show all. Whoops, let me close that. Now we'll go show all. Now remember, all this stuff out here isn't going to show. It'll end and it'll be done, so we won't have to worry about it. And get rid of that. Okay, so we have our timeline. If we want to add a moon now, I want you to think about how you can add a moon. You add the moon and add it. You can have it come in, go out, whatever you want to do. Don't forget to go to File. We're going to save this as Beach Complete. Okay, because it's got everything in it. With the exception of my moon and anything else you want to add. It's got my audio. It's got my alpha tweening, changing from my sky blue to my midnight or my nighttime. My sun is leaving, my clouds are gone. I have my audio now of my bird and my surf. Play with that, see how you like it. And then you add your little bit of whatever it is that you want to make it look good. That's up to you. It's pretty much whatever you want it to be. We'll talk more later about how we can take things out, because this is way out here and I don't need all that. I'm just going to show frame, and there we go. Remember, this is all going to be sitting on the outside, so we're not going to see any of this. And then we're at the end of our timeline. Here's the little stars. Remember, we just have one star, and yet we have 4 instances in the timeline of that star. Watch the video. If you get confused, email me. Somebody said I talk a little fast and I'm trying to slow it down. And I'll try and save this video in a way I hope that will allow you to stop and then restart. I think I'll make it a QuickTime movie this time also, so that you can go in and look at it and start and stop it. If you have any questions, email me, call me, or come by and see me. And don't forget to register for the intermediate class. Things are going to really start picking up now that we start to know how to do animation tweening. We're going to build a website for the rest of the semester. We're going to learn how to build logos, banners, buttons, and create movies navigating from scene to scene. So there's a lot still to learn, and I hope you take the intermediate class. Look for another video this week. There'll be another in-depth video, so look for it in week 6. Have a good week.